Welcome to today's edition of Devotions with Brother Aaron. Our devotion today is entitled Church, a Sanctuary for Saints or a Hospital for Sinners. Quite often, when referring to a church member whose lifestyle isn't quite aligning with biblical standards or accepted church practices, I've heard other well-meaning, well-intentioned members say something to the effect of, "Well, preacher, after all, you know the church isn't a sanctuary for saints. It's a hospital for sinners." And to be quite honest with you, for several months I have been pondering this and asking myself, is it? Is it? Is the church really a hospital for sinners? And after much deliberation, I have concluded that it is. However, probably not in the sense you're thinking. So, I encourage you to continue listening today as I point out some similarities between a hospital and a church that is a hospital for sinners. Often, the trip to the hospital or church begins with a trip to the emergency room. By definition, this means that an event or a series of events has occurred that has disrupted our normal. We suddenly find ourselves out of control. We find ourselves needing intervention from people we don't even know. But suddenly, our well-being depends on them doing what they have been trained to do. The experience begins with the full disclosure of what happened or is happening that has led us to the emergency room. Our very lives could be hanging in the balance. So, this is a time for full disclosure. 100% honesty is required for the emergency room personnel to determine a course of treatment. A battery of tests often follows this. X-rays are done to determine if anything is broken. CT scans and MRIs are performed to determine if there's any internal bleeding or swelling. Blood tests are performed to determine whether viruses, contamination, or other abnormalities are present in the blood. Heart monitors are attached to assess the heart condition. Brain scans are performed to assess brain health. And our dignity and modesty go right out the window as we are asked extremely personal questions, poked and prodded, and examined in ways we never imagined. Once the diagnosis has been made, the treatment begins. Now, this may mean stitches to close a laceration. It can mean an operation where broken bones are set and fastened together with screws and metal plates. It may mean an internal organ is removed. It can mean a limb has to be amputated. It may require a blood transfusion. And it often necessitates antibiotics and IV fluids. And our recovery may require that we spend time in the ICU where our every move is monitored. And if we are infected with a communicable disease, we may be quarantined to prevent us from infecting others. And even when we reach a point where our health has been restored, we are often required to change our lifestyle and make regular visits to our doctor to ensure our continued well-being. So, back to the original question. Is the church a hospital for sinners? Yeah, it is. But a hospital is not a place where you go to validate your lifestyle, protect the status quo, or change the standards and practices of healthcare providers. A hospital is a place where you go to have life restored. Yes, the process may be embarrassing and painful, but it's necessary. So, the next time somebody tells you that the church is a hospital for sinners, tell them that it certainly is, and then remind them about what awaits them at the hospital. Trust me, physical and spiritual restoration is not a walk in the park. Remember, it involves X-rays to determine if anything is broken, CT scans and MRIs to determine if there's any internal bleeding or swelling, blood tests to determine whether viruses, contaminants, or other abnormalities are present. Heart monitors are attached to assess the heart condition. Brain scans are performed to assess brain health. And our dignity and modesty go right out the window as we are asked extremely personal questions, poked and prodded, and examined in ways we never imagined. Yeah, the church is a hospital for sinners, but we don't think about it like I just described. Lord, please remind us that the church is indeed a hospital for sinners, but it is not a pretty or lovely little place where sinners come to have a little cosmetic surgery done to enhance their appearance or social status. It's a triage area where, without regard to pain, appearance, cost, loss of social status, or recovery time, you, sir, do whatever is necessary to restore us to you. Thank you for that, Jesus. Thank you. And I ask this in your name. Amen and amen.